This terrifying story happened in Phoenix, Arizona in 1932. A young couple had just gotten married and moved into a new home together to start their new life. But within a few days, things started to get strange. While the bride was doing some housework, she heard a noise coming from the basement. She asked her husband to go check it out, but when he came back, he told her that everything was fine. However, later that night, while the married couple was sleeping in their bed, they heard chains dragging metal moans. Obviously terrified by the sound, the husband quickly grabbed his gun and went to investigate. But before he could reach the basement, the sound of chains stopped abruptly. In the morning, the husband told his wife that he was going to see the neighbor to ask about the previous owner of the house and also to find out if anyone had been seen entering or leaving the home at night. The neighbor informed him that the previous owner had died 2 years ago and no one had entered the house since then. He also told them that there were rumors that the house was haunted. The couple thought it was just an old wives' tale to scare people, so they didn't bother much about it. However, that night, the horror began again. They heard chains dragging in the basement once more, and they felt a cold breeze even though all the windows were closed. They also saw the door to their bedroom move on its own. When the wife tried to pray, she couldn't utter a word, and her husband could not even begin the Lord's Prayer. Something evil was in the house, and it was feeding on their fear. The next morning, the husband went to the neighbor's house again and asked him to contact the priest. The priest came, performed an exorcism, and blessed the house. For a few days, there was peace in the house, but the tranquility did not last long. The demonic presence returned, and this time it was stronger than ever. The presence was felt throughout the house. They constantly heard chains dragging, doors slamming, heavy footsteps, disembodied voices, shaking beds, and more. It was a nightmare come true. One day, the wife was in the kitchen when the light suddenly turned off. When she went to the basement to check the circuit breaker, she found something horrifying. All the wires were neatly cut. Fearing that she might be electrocuted, she screamed for her husband and quickly ran back upstairs. When her husband came to the basement, he noticed that all the wires had been cut so precisely that it looked like the work of a professional electrician. He immediately called the priest and told him to come as soon as possible. The priest arrived and blessed the basement, and soon the lights turned on as if nothing had happened. But the demonic presence was still there, and it was getting stronger with each passing day. The poor couple was desperate to get rid of the demonic presence. So the husband called the priest again and asked him to perform an exorcism. The priest agreed, and he performed an exorcism that lasted several hours. Although the presence tried to stop him, the priest managed to banish it from the house. However, the victory was short-lived because the next night the demonic presence returned and brought with it 3 more evil spirits. The 3 spirits possessed the wife. The husband immediately called the priest who had been warned about the possibility of possession during the previous exorcism. The priest came and started performing exorcisms regularly. He performed 1 exorcism every day for 2 whole months. During the exorcisms, the demons taunted the priest, calling him a coward and saying that he would never succeed in banishing them. They also said that they were only getting stronger with each passing day. But the priest did not give up. He continued to perform exorcisms every day, praying and reading the Holy Scriptures. Finally, after 2 long months, the persistent efforts of the priest paid off. The 3 demons left the woman's body, but they did not leave empty-handed. They dragged her soul with them to spend eternity in hell. The exorcism was successful, but it was also a tragic loss. The poor woman was now dead. The priest buried her in a consecrated cemetery, and her grieving husband promised to visit her grave every day. To this day, no one knows what those 3 demons were, why they chose this particular woman, or where they dragged her soul. But the story serves as a reminder of the constant battle between good and evil, and how even in the darkest of times, hope should never be abandoned.